Hello and welcome to another episode of TEVAdrive. This time around we are driving for the first time ever an Alfa Romeo, an Italian car. This is the first plug-in hybrid Alfa Romeo that has made it to this side of the Atlantic. So this is Alfa Romeo Tonale PHEV plug-in hybrid, and this is the Veloce top of the line model with a total of 280 horsepower. It is a plug-in hybrid, so it has a battery that is 15.5 kilowatt hours, of which 12.5 are usable. It also has a 4-cylinder 1.3 liter engine in the front, powering the front wheels, 180 horsepower powering the front wheels, and then you have 120 horsepower motor powering the rear wheels. Together the system power is 280 horsepower, good for 6 seconds from 0 to 100. So as you can see, this typical new design for all the new Alfa Romeos, a typical Alfa Romeo grille. You have now the triple LEDs here in the front. It makes this car very sexy. By the way, we've had comments today, both from guys and ladies, showing us thumbs up about this car, coming up and asking us about this car. It's a very sexy design indeed. Okay, so let's show you the car from the rear profile. By the way, we can mention that the car starts at 59,000 in the plug-in hybrid, guys. You can also exist in a pure gas model, which is cheaper. And there is also an equivalent Dodge cousin, Dodge Hornet RT, with the same mechanicals but completely different design. The only similarity that you can see is from the side profile. So let us show you the car from the side. You have these beautiful 20-inch wheels. For now, the car is equipped still with winter tires, because we're kind of end of March, it's Easter of 2024, and it's pretty cold. The snow just melted. It's +5, but very cold northwesterly wind, which has affected our test results as well. So beautiful 20-inch wheels with the winter tires on them, and this is a typical Alfa Romeo design for the rims, the kind of the circles inside. You have beautiful red calipers with the Alfa Romeo on it. Here you have the model version Veloce. This is the top of the line, the quickest version of all the different Alfas. It comes with an amazing green color. Let us show you the interior quickly before we can take you for a spin. You have a very traditional Italian Alfa Romeo design. This is the first Alfa Romeo to actually have a digital dashboard here. You have a center screen here. Lots of buttons which we'll go over in a moment. You have this leather wrapped steering wheel with a start button here and the shift paddle. So we'll go over the details. We just wanted to show you the interior space inside the car. So I'm right now sitting in a rather comfortable position for myself. And again, I'm 190 centimeters or 6'3". So let's see how much space is left for a passenger in the back with a tall driver behind the wheel. All right, so let's jump back in there. The car might be beeping because we left the car running. And here is also, you can see the Alfa Romeo logo is here on the side window. By the way, this is the charging port right here. On the rear driver's side is your charging port. On the other side you have the fuel filler. Okay, so here we are in the back. As you can see, it's pretty tight in here. My feet fit under the seat just fine, but here for the knees not much space, and also the headroom is pretty tight. So definitely less space than our similarly priced Audi Q4 e-tron. All right, let's show you the trunk space now. Might be testing the space. Okay, so you have another unibrow design here. The same design with the triple LEDs here in the back, very similar to the front. But here you have the LED unibrow stretching from one end to the other with a beautiful Alfa Romeo logo here and Tonale name right there. All the sensors are here. This version has surround view cameras with sensors all around. There doesn't seem to be a foot swipe function, so the way you open it, there's a button right there. It's a power lift gate, which it should be in a car of in this range. You have a 40-60 split rear bench with a fold down pass-through in the middle, and then you have quite a bit of storage space here for cables and emergency tire kit. All right, so that's about it for the walk around. Let us take you for a quick spin and give you the details of our test results. Okay, so here we are inside a 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonale plug-in hybrid. So we've given you a walk around. Let us quickly show you some of the features here on the dash and on the center screen. So right now we have the e-hybrid screen, which shows you the energy flow and the energy coming from climate, battery and engine, etc. You also have a driving history, you have the charging schedules, etc., etc. You have your trip meter, your gas consumption, the range, etc. You have My Car, which basically gives you just the overview and such. The e-hybrid again. You have then the performance screen. It's little lagging. Technical gauges, turbo and torque, because as we mentioned, there is a 4-cylinder, 1.3 liter turbo engine with powering the front wheels with 180 horsepower. Then in the back you have the electric motor with 120 horses for a total system power of 280. So let's leave it on the e-hybrid screen. There we go. So the nice thing about it is that now you have still physical buttons here to get the climate temperature up and down. You have your auto button here, front and rear defrosters, climate off, fan speed, direction of the fans, the AC on off, the recirculation automatic or manual. And so you have some basic buttons here, but then most of the other information is actually on the screen. The nice thing is when you have the Android Auto playing, it only occupies part of the screen, and then on the left you still have the car functions. So here, for example, is your seat cooling, seat heating, and steering wheel heat. There you go. So it's basically right in the corner of your screen. Some of those, and it'll disappear all by itself. Some of those, like the time, outside temperature, because of the size of the screen, they are very small. So somebody my age may have trouble reading. The same thing here on the main screen. I don't know if you can see it from the back, but you have the range in electric range showing here. It's 24 kilometers, and it's kind of neat because it's a digital screen, but it's designed to look like an analog screen, like an analog gauges, so that those numbers actually kind of roll through, which is kind of neat. So this is very, very kind of a neo-retro look. You can change the look of the screen. You control the contents with this button here and the roller here. You control what your center is showing here. You can also change the contents of the right side of the screen. I always keep it on basically the consumption. So you have your trip that you can reset, showing you the kilometers you've driven in gas, kilometers driven in electric, and the average fuel consumption. So that's kind of my favorite screen. Then you have the different driving modes. Your driving modes are all here. I don't know, they all mean something in Italian. This is what the Italians call the manettino, like on a Ferrari, except the manettino on a Ferrari is right here where the start-stop button is located on this car. The manettino in the Alfa has moved here, and this is where you change your driving modes. But also this car is equipped with an adaptive damper, so you can change your damping controls manually by pressing this button, either if you want the soft damping or sport damping. So A is basically your electric mode. Then you go to N, which is your hybrid mode, and it changes the look of your screen as well on the main dash. And then as soon as you go to dynamic, it turns on your engine. So you'll hear it, and you can definitely hear it because it has a sport exhaust. So let's turn it on. There you go. You can hear the engine coming on. This is your dynamic mode. This is when you have the most power. And you can see on the graphics here, the engine is on and is charging the battery basically. And it revs pretty high. When you're in dynamic mode, most of the time it stays above 2000 RPM. Then when you start driving, you can see it's charging the battery at the rate of 4 kilowatts. So it's showing minus 4 kilowatts here on the center screen. And then when it warms up, it's gonna slow down the RPM to about 1000. Your idle is gonna be just around 1000 RPM. For now, it's actually at 1500. And even if you start driving, it's gonna maintain kind of a even 2000 RPM before it starts you know, adjusting the RPM to the actual car speed and going through the gears. This car is equipped with an 8-speed automatic, but again, you're dealing with a separate engine powering the front wheels and the electric motor powering the rear wheels. There you go. It's idling now down to 1,000 RPM. Other than that, you basically have this beautiful Italian flag. You have the e-save mode here. Now the e-save in this car does not charge your battery. So what it merely does, if you have some battery length, like let's say we have right now, you see that when you're in dynamic mode, you don't see your electric range. That's kind of out. But just a moment ago, we saw that the car had 24 kilometers electric range. Let's say you're going on a highway, you don't want to use up your electric battery, you want to keep it for when you're driving the city. You press the e-save mode, it's going to maintain that 24 kilometer electric range until you turn off the e-save, but it does not charge the battery. So the only way to charge the battery in this car while driving is by keeping it in dynamic when the engine stays on at all times. So we managed to get after driving a few kilometers, we managed to get about 4 to 5 kilometers electric range. So when we got into town, we put it in A mode, in the EV mode, and we're able to drive through a small town in all electric before the engine kicked in. All right, so that's about it. You have the basic control here on the wheel. All your adaptive cruise and auto steer functions are here. The adaptive cruise and auto steer works quite well. And here's your volume buttons. This is your entertainment side, and the phone and the menus are on the right-hand side. Just a very classical gear shifter. It's all here. And you have the manual mode here. So once you are in the manual mode, you can shift your gears up and down with the main gear shifter, or you can change with using the shift paddles, just like in a Ferrari or Lambo. And those shift paddles are huge. They're much bigger than all the other German shift paddles on Mercedes, Audi, or BMW cars. They are just huge. So in fact, they're almost too large that they interfere with you using the turn signals and your wiper stack. You can touch these by mistake. And if you're in electric mode and you touch it by mistake, automatically the engine will come on because it'll think that you're trying to change gears. All right, so that's about it. The car is equipped with a beautiful Harman Kardon stereo system. It really sounds great, but we won't be able to demonstrate because otherwise the YouTube may not like it. Okay, so let's put it back in drive. Let's start in the sport mode or dynamic mode, and then we'll switch it back to electric once we get out of this grassy area here. It is an SUV after all. It's not a very high ground clearance, but it should be able to maneuver or negotiate slight off-road situations, just like we're on right now. We're on the Georgian Bay shores, and this is it hasn't been raining in a while, so it's not very muddy. We just have to negotiate this grassy area, and we'll take you on our usual test track around this village here on the shores of the Georgian Bay. Near Midland. We've now driven this car twice from Toronto to Midland using highway, side roads, and then today we've driven it from Midland to Collingwood as well. So we tried under different situations using the electric mode. So let's turn it back to electric mode to make it silent. There we go. And right away the car goes back into the electric mode, which is kind of nice. Yeah, so in electric mode with 120 horsepower powering the rear wheels, it's not a super quick car, but it's quick enough for you to keep up with traffic in the city and even on the highway up to 130 kilometers per hour. But then on the highway, as you know, electric mode is not the most efficient, so you're best to be using the gas mode on the highway and then EV mode in the city. The most we were able to drive in the EV mode, and we tried both with and without climate, was about 50 kilometers. So what happens is the car always starts showing 50 kilometers in EV mode at full. And once you get to about 5 or 6 kilometers range, it just automatically turns the engine on. So you can't actually get to the full 50 kilometers, you probably get around 45 kilometers. Now keep in mind that because this test is being done in March, this is still winter weather and the car is still equipped with the winter tires. So you might be able to get a bit more out of this car in electric mode in the summer, without using the climate. Actually, we have driven today, even though it was +5 and sunny, we were driving most of the time without climate, and still we only got only 50 kilometers or so, and that was using the side road. So we never went, more than 90 kilometers per hour. And we still couldn't stretch this EV range beyond the 50 kilometers. Now, we did not precondition. There's a very good chance that you should be able to precondition this car using the app. We did not do it, so it was, and the temperature this morning was actually below 0. By the time we started the trip, it was just above 0 and sunny. So the interior is nice and toasty just from the sun, but we did not precondition. And as you know, every electric car needs to use some battery power to heat itself, to bring the battery to the ultimate temperature. So that affects your range automatically. The car is equipped with a beautiful toasty steering heat. It has heated and cooled seats. And as we mentioned, with the total of 280 horsepower, the acceleration from 0 to 100 is 6 seconds. So we're going to try and stop right here somewhere to see how impressive or not the 0 to 100 acceleration is. We won't be going obviously anywhere near 100, but we just want to give you our impression of the feel of what the car feels like in its dynamic mode. So we'll go back to the loud dynamic mode. Definitely you can hear the exhaust, and it's quite loud. So we're gonna stop somewhere halfway there in the middle of the forest and try and give you our impression of the acceleration. So we're going to do it a little bit further down. So again, the look of the dashboard changes according to the mode you're driving. So right now we're in dynamic mode. So we're going to just stop here and try and floor it. Okay. It basically lags. I mean, compared to any pure electric car, the 280 horsepower sounds like it's quite impressive, but it's not, it's 6 seconds basically. So it's technically on paper the same as our Audi because they are both 6 seconds to 100. But in a pure electric car, as you know, the acceleration is you can feel it much better, and of course it's silent as well. So yeah, same price range as our Audi. It's slightly more expensive than the Dodge version, but it's much sexier than I can guarantee you nobody's going to stop you to ask questions about the Dodge Hornet RT, which has the same mechanics. It's also a plug-in hybrid, identical mechanically, but the looks are completely different. So don't expect any compliments from people on the street driving a Dodge Hornet RT, where this Alfa is really sexy design, a good-looking car. And with almost 300 horses, 280 horses, that's pretty quick. Six seconds is quick enough. I mean, I'm really happy with the same 6 seconds on our Audi Q4. What I have kind of the big question is whether you think it's worth the same as an Audi Q4. Audi being the pure electric, this is a plug-in hybrid. Now, very few compact plug-in hybrid SUVs are available in our market. So we did actually a quick comparison of this car a few months ago, and we'll be posting that video soon, of comparing this car with the Lincoln Corsair PHEV, which is very similar specs on paper, and it's also priced similarly. But all the other ones, from the luxury brands, Mercedes, Audi, BMW, you have the BMW X3 plug-in hybrid, you have the Audi Q5 plug-in hybrid, and now you have also the new Mercedes GLC plug-in hybrid, but they are all priced substantially higher. So at around the $60,000 range, which this is, now this car with all the options is actually above 70 grand. So it starts at 59, and then you start adding options. But I guess again, it's priced the same as our Audi Q4. So you don't have that many options for European or luxury plug-in hybrid SUV around the 60 grand. So I think this car has a chance to do well for those people who don't want a pure electric car, and many people don't. Like a few members of my family will not, would never choose a pure electric car. I mean, my family drives also from time to time all of our pure electric cars, but the ladies in my family prefer the plug-in hybrids, and that's what they are driving. So this is a very good plug-in hybrid alternative. In my opinion, it's much better looking than its cousin Dodge Hornet RT. And then, yes, with a 60 grand price tag, there's very few, luxury electric SUVs that you are able to get in that price range. So this is kind of a good compromise solution for people who don't want to have pure electric, who want a plug-in hybrid European luxury SUV. And Alfa Romeo counts itself as a luxury brand now, and it's also priced as such. Not so for the Dodge Hornet RT, which is not priced very much below this Alfa Romeo. So I think Dodge will have much harder time selling their Dodge Hornet RT than Alfa Romeo selling the Tonale PHEV. That's about it. You can check out our Facebook page to check the stats on the fuel consumption and our charging stats, etc., etc. The fuel consumption on this car on the highways tends to be between 10 and 11 liters per 100. Our hybrid trip from Toronto to the lake house, that was on the highway, we did about 100 kilometers on the highway, 50 in electric mode. So on the highway we used the e-save mode, and then we used about 50 kilometers of EV range. The consumption was just under 7 liters. So with the depleted battery on the highway, this car will be using between 10 and 11 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's about it for our impressions. Let's put it back into silent mode, all electric mode. So if you have any questions about our test results for this particular car, do not hesitate to comment, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. And as always, do not forget to press the subscribe button on our channel to be informed when the next video will be published. We have lots more pure electric and plug-in hybrid cars coming for tests in the next few weeks. So we hope to see you there. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next review.